Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today we're doing something a bit different. We're stepping away from the usual articles and research papers. Instead, we're venturing into the chilling world of true horror stories. The theme today, it revolves around something seemingly innocent, the Treehouse. For loads of people, these places are about freedom, adventure, childhood, really. But for the folks whose stories we're sharing today, they became stages for fear, mystery, pure dread. We've pulled together these true accounts for various places, and our goal isn't just to list facts. We want to immerse you in the terror these people actually felt. So prepare yourselves. Because sometimes behind the innocence of a treehouse, unsettling secrets hide. Okay, let's start with the first one. This takes us to Brookmont, Maryland. The narrator was maybe 9 or 10 years old at the time. His family had just moved, huge property, lovely suburb. And the big highlight, not the house, but this amazing tree castle in the backyard. And I mean, this wasn't your basic treehouse. No, this thing was professionally built. 3 levels, spanned multiple trees.
It even had a proper staircase, like a dream for him and his 2 older brothers, Sean and Harold. You know how it is. The older brothers, they kind of lost interest after a while. So our narrator was left playing up there mostly alone. Then one day, he's up there, finds this folded note. It just says, "Hello, I'm the Marshmallow Man. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?" He figures, okay, it's got to be Sean or Harold, right? Trying to start some game. So he plays along, leaves his name, writes back. Over the next few days, more notes appear, but they start getting weirder, more personal. Like one chilling one he really remembered was, "Which window in the house is your bedroom?"
Yeah, that's a classic escalation, isn't it? From a psychological standpoint, anyway. It's not an immediate overt threat. It's this slow creep, probing boundaries. It really mirrors patterns you see in grooming behavior, normalizing intrusion bit by bit so the alarm bells don't go off right away. It's that subtle shift, curiosity slides into invasion.
Exactly. And he's still thinking it's his brothers, just, being weird brothers. But then comes this note that really crosses a line, something like, "What do your pajamas smell like?" So, okay, now he's just outraged. He confronts Sean and Harold. They just laugh it off, deny everything, make fun of him. So that night he's in bed, kind of angry, kind of uneasy, and he hears staff tapping on his window. He just freezes, totally terrified, doesn't move. The next morning, he finally gets up the nerve to pull back the curtains. And taped all over the outside of the glass, dozens and dozens of marshmallows. Now he's thinking, right, I have to catch them. This is just not funny anymore. So the next night he's ready. He lies in wait. The tappings start to get, he rips open the curtains, ready to yell. But it's not Sean, it's not Harold, it's this old man just staring at him. Described as disgusting, yellow eyes, rotting teeth, patchy hair. And then the man smiled. The kid screams bloody murder. Parents come rushing in. But by the time they get there, the man's just gone. Police came, searched the whole property, the woods around it. Found nothing. Zip. The Marshmallow Man, never seen again. But that memory and the treehouse became this source of just pure terror for him.
And that lack of resolution, that's key here, psychologically anyway. When we look at trauma responses, sometimes the complete absence of explanation, the vanishing act, it can actually be more disturbing than, say, an event you fully understand, even a violent one. The mind just can't categorize it, can't process it, so that dread lingers, it gets embedded, makes it almost impossible to move past.
Yeah, absolutely chilling.
Okay, let's shift gears. Story number 2. This one's from a father's perspective. He's a carpenter. He built this amazing, really sturdy treehouse for his son, Luke, who was 8. Their house was right at the end of a dead-end street, backing onto thick woods. Quiet, private, and the dad could see the treehouse steps right from his bedroom window, which was important for, peace of mind, safety. He put a lot of work into it for Luke. At first it was great. Luke loved it, but then Luke starts spending more and more time out there, and he starts talking about an imaginary friend named Jake. The dad's a bit skeptical. 8 is kind of old for that, maybe. And Jake has these really specific kind of weird rules. Like, Jake's shy. He only plays in the treehouse. Doesn't like coming inside the main house. Parents felt uneasy, but, they tried to be understanding. Let it go for a bit.
And that's the tricky line, isn't it? For parents. When does imaginative play cross over into something concerning? These really strict conditions Lib described for Jake's presence, the isolation, the specific location, those are definite red flags. Our understanding of child development suggests that while imaginary friends are normal, those kinds of rigid boundaries often mean a child might be covering for something or someone.
Right. And things really escalated. One Saturday, Luke comes home. He's got a black eye. He's crying, says he fought with Jake. Okay, now the dad is seriously concerned. He decides, right, I need to check out this treehouse myself. And what he finds up there, deeply disturbing. Scattered kids' socks and sneakers. Dirty, tattered. None of them belong to Luke or his older brother. Also food wrappers, dirty plates. And maybe the creepiest part, pencil drawings on the walls. Wild animals like a fox, a bear, and this one drawing of a gigantic spider with a face that was just completely penned over, just scribbled out. So he confronts Luke. Luke gives this really weak story about Jake needing food to talk and being forgetful about the shoes. Dad's not buying it. He forbids Luke from going to the treehouse, period. Then comes the really chilling part. One evening, the dad's looking out his bedroom window towards the treehouse. Sees movement. It's not Luke. It's a child climbing down the treehouse steps. But this kid looks sickly, frail, malnourished, clothes dirty. Definitely not from the neighborhood. As soon as Dad yells, the kid just bolts, darts into the woods. The dad said he moved freakishly fast. Vanished. Police searched again. Nothing. No missing kids reports matched the description either. The police, with the dad's okay, talked to Luke again. And Luke's confession, it's terrifying. He said Jake claimed he was a magic boy, lived in the woods with his animal friends, and Jake was apparently begging Luke to leave his family and come join them in the woods. And when Luke refused, Jake would get angry and make these strange noises. The father was just left with this mystery. He wondered, was it something paranormal? Or was it, and he used this phrase, woods folk lurking around. Oh. You know, that term you sometimes hear in local folklore, reclusive people, maybe feral, maybe something else entirely. Leaves it wide open.
It really does. And this story is fascinating because it shows how folklore and real fear can just weave together. You've got tangible evidence, the clothes, the food, those disturbing drawings. Then the sighting of this unknown child, plus Luke's detailed story, it pushes it way beyond just an imaginary friend. It taps into these really primal fears, right? Fear of the other, living out on the fringes, fear of someone manipulating your child. It resonates with sociological studies, missing persons cases, and yeah, the power of those local legends.
Okay, third story. This one has a different kind of dread, more immediate, maybe. Set in a quiet Delaware suburb. This time, our narrator is a college sophomore. She's home for fall break, using her old childhood treehouse. It's creaky, kind of hidden. It was high up, so you couldn't really see it from the house. But from inside it, she had this perfect view. The whole yard, the street, even the house windows. Her secret spot. So one Saturday evening, her parents are out. Late banquet or something. She climbs up into the treehouse, just chilling out. After sunset, it gets dark. And suddenly she sees a light switch on inside her house. Her heart just starts pounding. She knows she's the only one supposed to be home. Then, moments later, she sees them in the backyard. 3 figures, hooded, circling the property. Her stomach just drops when she sees a 4th person open the front door and let the others in. The realization hits her like ice. Her house is being robbed right now.
Wow. That's a unique kind of terror, isn't it? The hidden observer. You have this incredible vulnerability, this helplessness because you can't directly intervene. But you also have this terrifyingly clear vantage point. It's not the fear of immediate confrontation necessarily. It's the dread of watching your safe space being violated right in front of you. It's something we see discussed in like trauma studies and the bystander effect.
Yeah, exactly. She's partly frozen, but she manages to think. Phone's in her hand. She dials 911, whispering into the phone, telling the operator what's happening. But as she puts the phone down, the light from the screen, it must have caught the eye of the robber who stayed outside as a lookout. He looks straight up at the treehouse, yells, "Hey, E!" And then he starts climbing, coming right up the wooden planks towards her. He knows she's there. Okay, pure panic mode. Adrenaline kicks in. She screams that the police are on their way. He doesn't stop. He keeps climbing. She desperately looks around, grabs the only thing she can reach, her bong. And she just hurls it down at him as hard as she can. Hits him square in the head, shatters, he curses, falls back a bit, maybe a few feet, and scrambles down, yelling a warning to the guys inside. A moment later, all 4 of them bolt out the back door and run off through the yard. Police show up literally minutes later. She's shaking like crazy, manages to climb down, gives the police this completely jumbled story. Her parents get home. They're just incredibly sympathetic, relieved she's okay. But the experience, it left her totally traumatized. Said she hasn't slept properly since. Just constant fear they might come back. Worried sick about her parents being alone there. That treehouse, her safe haven, suddenly became this symbol of just how vulnerable she was. A really precarious perch during a terrifying event.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Even without direct physical harm in her case, the violation of that personal space. Studies on trauma show that can have a severe, long-lasting impact on someone's sense of security. It just highlights how fragile that feeling of safety really is, how quickly an innocent place can become a trigger for deep anxiety.
Absolutely. Okay, one final account for today. This was from someone named Tommy. He's recalling something that happened when he was about 12. He describes himself as a rebellious preteen, often grounded. So sometimes his form of rebellion was sneaking out to sleep in the backyard treehouse. He'd take blankets, pillows, and truthfully, his forbidden Nintendo DS.
his little escape. So one night, he's out there, playing his DS for hours. Finally falls asleep. He thinks he was only asleep for a few moments when he's jolted awake by a voice. A deep, grown man's voice calling his name. Tommy, Tommy, are you up there? His heart just slams against his ribs. He doesn't answer. Stays completely still. Then he hears it, the ladder creaking. Someone's climbing up. In the almost total darkness, a head pokes through the opening in the treehouse floor. He can't see a face, just a silhouette. And then the voice says, there you are.
That moment. Psychologically, that's just pure primal fear. Hearing your own name, whispered or called out by someone unknown, unseen, in what you thought was a private space, it immediately triggers those deep-seated fears of intrusion, of being known by the unknown. Our research into fear responses shows that ambiguity, not being able to identify the threat, but knowing they somehow know you, that can be far more terrifying than seeing a clear danger. Your imagination just fills in the blanks with the worst possibilities.
Totally. And Tommy, he's clinging to this tiny hope. Maybe it's his dad playing a prank. So he calls out tentatively, Dad. Silence. No response. For maybe 20 seconds, which must have felt like an eternity. He's just staring at this silhouette, assuming it's staring back, and this chilling certainty washes over him. That is not my father. He scrambles over the treehouse window and just screams, Dad, at the top of his lungs. Instantly, lights flash on in his parents' bedroom window. He hears footsteps running down the ladder fast. His parents burst out of the back door. His dad immediately, swears on everything. He was not out there. It wasn't a prank. And his parents believed Tommy. They knew he was genuinely terrified. Turns out Tommy's uncle was a police officer. He came over, took a report. But there was so little to go on right. A deep man's voice, a silhouette, the fact the person knew his name. Not much for the police to work with. Tommy never, ever spent another night in that treehouse. His dad apparently had suspicions about a neighbor, but could never prove anything. Tommy couldn't clearly recall the voice to compare. So it just remains this unsettling mystery, a total question mark.
And this last story really drives home how easily that childhood sense of security can just be shattered. The invasion of a personal sanctuary, like a treehouse, by someone unknown but somehow informed. It leaves a lasting mark. It really highlights the power of ambiguity in creating fear, and that awful struggle for closure when something just can't be explained leaves you feeling permanently vulnerable.
Right. So let's try and pull these threads together. We had the Marshmallow Man, this bizarre psychological intrusion. We had Jake and the mystery of the woods folk, blurring lines between imagination and something else. Then the home invasion, witnessed from that vulnerable, hidden spot. And finally, Tommy and that terrifying, unidentified voice in the dark. They're all different stories, but they share this really chilling theme, don't they? How these places we think of as safe, especially those childhood havens, can become the exact opposite. Stages for our deepest fears.
Exactly. And connecting it to the bigger picture of human psychology, these stories tell us a lot about vulnerability. Fear isn't just about physical danger. It's about breach boundaries, the terror of the unknown, insidious manipulation, and the profound impact of things that just don't make sense, that defy explanation. They serve as this stark reminder that our feeling of security, it's often more fragile than we like to think. Vulnerable to human actions and maybe sometimes to the unexplained too.
So it leaves us, and you listening, with a question really. What does it say about fear when it creeps into the places we hold most dear or feel most protected? Maybe the scariest part of these accounts isn't just the events themselves. It's the questions left unanswered. The what-ifs. That lingering, deeply unsettling feeling that some things are just beyond our understanding. Well, we hope this deep dive into these true accounts, into the psychology of terror, has given you something unsettling, maybe something thought-provoking to mull over. If you found these stories intriguing or scary or just captivating, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to the deep dive. And definitely check out Horror Docs if you're looking for more explorations into true horror. Thanks so much for joining us on this unsettling journey. Until next time, stay safe, and maybe keep a light on tonight.